And joining us now from Washington is Gerry Condon. Gerry is the president of Veterans for Peace and has been a part of the Embassy Protection Collective at the Venezuelan Embassy there in D.C. Thanks so much for joining us today, Gerry.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here with you. Thank you.
You were surrounded by Secret Service and violently thrown to the ground, then arrested while attempting to deliver food. Tell us how you are now, and tell us what exactly happened and why you were arrested.
Right. Well, I was trying to deliver food to the embassy. In fact, I was trying to throw a simple cucumber up to the window so they could have it in their salad. But I was jumped by 5 or 6 Secret Service police. And then thrown to the ground, face first, face into the pavement, and arrested. And I spent the next 24 hours in jail. And now I am going to be going to court on Tuesday, facing an assault charge. Well, my photo of my bloody face and being beaten by the Secret Service really went all over the world. So now even more people know the true nature of this struggle, that what's happening here at the Venezuelan Embassy in Washington, D.C. is very similar to what the U.S. is doing in Venezuela, denying people food and medicine, cutting off water and electricity, trying to starve people into submission and break their wills. But in fact, just the opposite is happening. People are seeing the truth of it. They're seeing the violence of it. They're seeing through the lies. And I think the people both in Venezuela and here in the United States and the peace movement here are even more determined than ever to resist the U.S. intervention.
And Veterans for Peace has been actively participating in support for the embassy. You're, of course, wearing your Veterans for Peace shirt. Tell us what the support has looked like and why your group is prioritizing this at this time.
Well, you know, we're a 38-year-old organization of many military veterans from way too many wars, and we're actually dedicated to abolishing war. And in particular, we're dedicated to restraining our government from intervening, whether overtly or covertly, in the internal affairs of other nations. So we're very concerned about what's going on in Venezuela. We've been opposed to U.S. intervention in Latin America for many years. Many of us were involved in opposing the U.S. CIA Contra war in Nicaragua during the 1980s. Several of us actually were, including myself, visited Venezuela in March with a delegation of U.S. and Canadian peace activists and got to meet a lot of people and learn more about the truth. We were very inspired by the patience, the persistence, the mutual support, how well the communities were organized for their mutual support and ultimately for the defense of the Bolivarian Revolution. So we came back to the United States better armed to tell the truth, to share the truth with people here. So we're doing that. We're organizing speaking tours. We're going to have a big Venezuela focus at our national convention in August. And now we're here. Quite a few of us have come from all around the country to be in Washington, D.C. to help defend the Venezuelan People's Embassy.
And you, of course, still have friends and comrades inside of the embassy. What has the siege on activists inside of the embassy looked like recently? And do you have any concerns that U.S. authorities might now ramp up efforts to take over that diplomatic office?
Well, I know I have good friends who are in the embassy, and I know their spirits are very high. Their resistance is strong. And several of them actually came out of the embassy in the last few days, kind of a strategic move so that they could conserve the water and food that they do have in the embassy and continue to resist. But I think that, of course, they're always concerned that they will be somehow there'll be an intervention into the embassy, that the police will come in and try to physically remove them, you know, the same way that the U.S. is threatening to militarily intervene in Venezuela. And by the way, I should say that Veterans for Peace is calling on U.S. soldiers to refuse to follow illegal orders to participate in an invasion or any other military aggression against Venezuela.
Thank you so much for joining us, Gerry. We've been speaking to Gerry Condon. He's the president of Veterans for Peace and is speaking to us from Washington. Glad you're all better now.
Venceremos.